Hey, what's up, everybody? Greetings, programs. Welcome to another edition of Wade Watches. I'm Wade, and welcome to another amazing, awesome, fresh out of the movie theater review where I just got through watching Tron Ares in IMAX 3D. And man, I've been waiting a long time for this one, man. This is easily one of my most anticipated films of 2025. I frankly thought that Disney would never make another one of these, just because it's always felt like the Tron franchise was just a bit too grown up for Disney, a bit too big for Disney. And that goes way back to the original from 1982, which was definitely ahead of its time, asking all of these really deep philosophical questions about the then new emerging internet, and even comparing it to religious themes and all that good stuff. It always felt like Tron was a franchise too ahead of its time, and certainly too big for a company like Disney, who was more known for, its fairy tales and, literary adaptations of the rides and all that good stuff to handle. And sadly, that is still the case, because of all three Tron movies, this is easily the worst and the most mediocre, man. This is easily the one that falls the most flat. And don't get me wrong, as much as I love the first two Tron movies, and I have gone on record saying that Tron is my favorite Disney property ever, because I've never been a fan of those flagship animations that everybody loves. Even though I've gone on record saying that, it's always felt like, even with those first two movies, they never fully figured out how to flesh out this world. They never really fully figured out how they could expand this world and tell the most compelling story that they could tell. In short, it's always felt like this franchise never fully reached its full potential, barring, excluding, and this is all hearsay, I haven't seen it for myself, excluding the apparently excellent Tron Uprising cartoon, which again, I have not seen. I didn't watch it when it was out on Disney XD, and I haven't seen the reruns. I mean, not the reruns, but I haven't seen, it on Disney Plus either. But after watching this, I do want to check it out, because this really was somewhat of a disappointment, because once again, it's just that same case of really all the ingredients being there. Everything is just primed and ready to be utilized to tell a really awesome story. The Grid is a very compelling world. There's lore there, there's intriguing characters there, there's unlimited potential, there's those deep philosophical themes that I love so much. You have it all there, but you just really don't know how to quite stick the landing. And that's the same exact case with Ares, because first and foremost, the biggest cardinal sin that Ares commits is going into our world. If they're the last franchise that needs to do the fish out of water storyline, where characters from a fantastical world or supernatural world, any sort of fictional world, come into the real world, is the Tron franchise. If anything, Tron needed to stay in the Grid and flesh it out more, develop it more, utilize that world more, answer some more unanswered questions, especially from Legacy. But instead, it has to come into our world. We have to have Jared Leto racing around on this pretty, red motorcycle in our world on the highways, and that's just not what I really wanted to see in a Tron movie, man. I guess some folks will like that. Some people who maybe there are people out there who don't want to see a lot of the Grid from a Tron movie, but I'm just not one of those people, man. I really did not need to see these programs from the Grid in the real world. So that's the main cardinal sin that this movie commits. And also just not really knowing how to find a lane, stick to a lane story wise. There's a couple of little stories we have here. Are we dealing with a program who wants to be human, who wants to live in the real world? Are we dealing with the implications of AI, and whether it's something that will benefit the human race or ultimately end up dooming the human race? Are we dealing with some pretty on the nose metaphors for some pretty rotten tech moguls? Are we dealing with somebody who's trying to take control of their company and doing the right thing? I don't know, a little bit of all of them, and none of them have any staying power. None of them resonated with me. None of them made me invested in the story. None of them made me care about anything I was seeing on the screen. The only thing I can say about Tron Ares is that it looks beautiful, it's visually pleasing, it's amazing to behold in IMAX. The 3D didn't really do much, I recall, the 3D being better utilized than Tron Legacy, but it's still a beautiful looking movie in IMAX. But that's, as far as like pros go, as far as like what I enjoyed, that's about it. It was a pretty light show, like the visuals are as gorgeous as they have ever been, because I mean, first one came out in '82, second one came out in 2010, it's 2025, so of course it's going to look great. But that's about all I can say about Ares. So wrapping it up, and it breaks my heart to do this, I'm going to go ahead and give Tron Ares, I'm going to go low with this one, because there's really just nothing there for me, man. The performances fell flat, the story fell flat, it all felt flat. So it breaks my heart to do this, but I'm going to go ahead and give Tron Ares a 3.5 out of 10, because it almost felt like they didn't really even try to do anything refreshing with this. We barely see the grid. When we do see the grid, it's like one bland setting, and it isn't until the very end that it looks like they're going to do something interesting. And I mean literally the very, very, very end. So yeah, I'm walking out of this one very disappointed, very let down. It's definitely going on the worst of 2025 list for me. It fell flat in every single way imaginable, despite having all the potential in the world to tell a great story. So it's a 3.5 out of 10 for Tron Ares. Have you seen Tron Ares, or will you be seeing it? If you have seen it, let me know in the comments below, and I will catch you lovely programs next time. Peace.